Alright, tag me in, guys. This is the December 16th Raw Super Show review, one day late, because it didn't get done last night. Before I get started, a couple things. First of all, a lot of stuff happened in this Raw today. It wasn't particularly a super great show for in-ring action, although there was a lot of great in-ring action. It was, I said it to a lot of friends, it was the first Raw I've really looked forward to just for the sake of seeing what was going to happen that night in a long time. Raw usually doesn't have that. Raw usually has, okay, we're going to give you a little more story. Okay, we're going to give you a little more story. Okay, we're going to give you a little more story. And here's your pay-per-view. But Raw tonight, I was interested because there was so much different stuff going on from the beginning of the year. The anticipation, the true, mark-out fan anticipation for this night's Raw, for me, was quite high. I might be the only one. Tell me down in the box if you think I'm incredibly nuts. But, yeah. So first off, we, right out of the gate, we get started with Mick Foley coming out. And it's like, okay, every other time Mick Foley's come out this year, it's been really dumb. He was Santa, he did John Cena, This Is Your Life, etc., etc., etc. And he addresses that as soon as he comes out. He says, I've been quite content to have a non-violent sort of nostalgia, comedic-based role. I had fun being Santa, da-da-da-da-da. But, my kids want to see what Daddy can do in the ring. The last two are old enough to watch me now, and I could use one more match, which, in reality terms means he's looking for his last run, or whatever, and he announces that he would like to be in the Royal Rumble. He's then introduced, that's not a word, is it? Vicky Guerrero and Dolph Ziggler come out and announce, yes, Dolph Ziggler is going to be the next champion, da-da-da-da. They mock the hell out of Mick Foley and his bid to be in the Royal Rumble, there's a whole roster of guys that want to be in the Royal Rumble, and there's only 30 slots, and the Royal Rumble is so important, and da-da-da-da. Ziggler on the mic, when Vicky Guerrero shuts up, is gold. He deserves to be right on par with Punk, doesn't he? And we're finally getting to see that, and that's an awesome thing, not skipping ahead to my scores, fails, and MVP, but Dolph Ziggler on the mic, preemptive score right there. And he really puts over, and this is the greatest part ever, he said he is disgusted because he knows he's going to win the title at the Royal Rumble, and if Mick Foley won the Rumble, he would be disgusted with the idea of defending his title at WrestleMania. I thought that was a nice little, sorry guys, itchy nose. Moving on. He would be disgusted by the idea of defending his title against somebody like Mick Foley at the Rumble. Punk comes in, talks down Dolph, and Vicky talks up Mick Foley, shows a lot of, mutual respect. He's earned everything he's gotten just like me. We're a lot alike, da-da-da-da. John Laurinaitis more or less comes out, says no to Foley, and mocks everybody in the ring. Next, we have Primo and Epico defending their tag team championships against Air Boom, because we find out, like most of us on the internet already knew, that Primo and Epico won the tag team titles at a house show. Now, I'm not going to get very much into this, because I do plan on, when I'm done this review, I'm going to do another video specifically on what's going on in the tag team division right now. So I'm not going to go too much on this, but, Air Boom and Primo and Epico, predictably enough, fast-paced match. The one thing that really stuck out to me was Evan Bourne, Hurricane Rana to Epico into Primo, which is not something you see very often, is it? But a backstabber on, I believe it was a backstabber on Kofi Kingston, actually, that got Epico and Primo the win, and they defend, and they are still the new tag team champions. Good for them, I think. I like Epico and Primo. They're a great, up-and-coming team, and, they bring Rosa with them, and that's a little eye candy on the side, which is also always good. But, like I said, I'm going to leave the tag team situation alone until I do my other video, but all in all the bullshit aside, great match, happy for Epico and Primo. Moving on. In the back, John Laurinaitis announces that the main event tonight will be a 3-on-3 tag match. Ziggler, Henry, and David Otunga versus Punk, Bryan, and the returning Chris Jericho, and gets a big pop, da-da-da-da. Zack Ryder gets interviewed in the back, says he's about to defend his U.S. championship, because it's very gold-heavy on tonight's Raw. He's going to defend his United States Championship against Swagger. He's not going to let Kane's attack from last week hamper him from going and having his match. So we have Swagger and Ryder next. the psychology of this match was absolutely fabulous. I do not give Swagger a lot of credit most of the time, so those of you that are Jack Swagger fans and say that I'm way too tough on him would do good to listen to what I'm about to say right now. The psychology employed by Jack Swagger in this match specifically, going after Ryder's back and making Zack Ryder's back the whole story of the match, slam after slam, everything was from the core and everything makes sense. Unfortunately for people like me who still can't stand Jack Swagger no matter what, Jack Swagger became your new US champion, ladies and gentlemen. So, listen to that and try to go to sleep at night. Moving on. Perez Hilton, and honest to God, guys, why is my garbage flying all over the place? Honest to God, guys, I had to look up who the fuck this guy was. Not gonna lie, he's a celebrity vlogger, apparently, because this is how desperate WWE is for celebrity interaction these days. Announces Kelly Kelly versus Alicia Fox versus the Kelly Kelly and Alicia Fox versus the Bella Twins. I proceed to not care at all, and of course Kelly Kelly cocksucks her way to another victory. Moving on, we have a nice video package recapping the incident from SmackDown where Big Show's basically steamrolled Daniel Bryan's girlfriend AJ there, which was really, really funny, but at the same time not, because she's like the size of my finger if she has a heavy meal. R-Truth comes out. He's about to cut a promo. He's cut off by Wade Barrett, who goes, I'm going to win the Rumble, you know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. The Barrett barrage is going strong, and da-da-da-da. Truth sits there, tells him he talks funny, tells him about how he went to Disneyland, and basically tells him that he asked Pinocchio if Wade Barrett was going to win. Pinocchio said yes, and Pinocchio's nose grew, which I thought was, you know, wasn't the most serious promo in the world, but, you know, with how crazy R-Truth has been lately, it was a great promo for his character. Miz comes out, attacks R-Truth. Sheamus comes out, attacks Wade Barrett. Teddy Long comes out and says, hey, this is a super show, so I can come on Raw and tell you guys what to do. So you are going to have an four-person fatal four-way over-the-top rope challenge, which caught me off guard, because as Teddy Long came out, I'm like, great, this is where we insert the predictable booked tag team match, and it wasn't. It was a four-way over-the-top rope challenge, which was a little different. Didn't last very long. Truth wins, but the best part, I'm a Miz fan, don't get me wrong, but the best part was after the match, Truth gets the victory, for one thing. For another thing, Sheamus walks by Miz and gives him a boot on the outside on the way out the door. It's not even, you know, the match is over, it just, fuck you, and that was the end of the segment, and I thought it was, you know, Sheamus looks at Miz, and like I said, it's fuck you, and I'm done, and I'm out, and fuck you all. But we go back to John Laurinaitis in the back. He gets attacked, or not attacked, but verbally attacked by Cena. What the hell did you do to my buddy Zack Ryder? Da 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 da. And he's doing this whole Cena Big Brother act that's developing, and I really, really don't like it, because every time they put Cena and Ryder in the same situation, it makes Ryder look less and less legitimate, because Cena has to fight all his battles for him. I mean, they already made it look like Cena handed him a US title run. Cena has enough to worry about with Kane killing him all the time, and with, you know, his match at WrestleMania with The Rock and whatever. He doesn't need to be coming back to the mid-card and burying Zack Ryder. But John Laurinaitis announces that Cena is going to face Kane at the Rumble. Cena is going to face Swagger tonight, because that makes sense, right? Because Jack Swagger just won the US Championship, and now he's got to fight John Cena. Swagger versus Cena is up next, but the match never happens, really. I don't even think the bell ever rings, because Cena actually comes out and goes nuts. He beats the living crap out of Swagger. And if this was the Cena that we had all the time, I wouldn't mind Cena so much. But, you know, this has got to be like a one-and-done type thing. But he comes out and, you know, he tries to show some balls and beats the, like I say, beats the living crap out of Swagger. But in the long run, even with the US title belt around his neck, what does it really mean to say somebody beat up Swagger? This is a guy that was, you know, Michael Cole's trainer for WrestleMania. So, yeah. But that's that, and he's beating him down. He's beating him down inside the ring, outside the ring. He's got him laid out on the announce table. And then we see Kane on the Titantron, and more or less Kane just laughs at Cena. He's like, ah, Cena, you're getting it. Like, you know, you're embracing the hate. And it became very, very cliche after that. But Kane, when he cuts a promo, is gold, so I didn't really mind. We had our nightly dose of the Funkasaurus Brodus Clay, basically squash match with JTG, which is sad, because you know what, JTG doesn't get half a shot in the WWE anymore. He was great in Crime Time, and if they had let him be as great as he was as a singles guy, he could be where somebody like R-Truth is. He could be where somebody like Zack Ryder is. No, he's not going to be in the main event. But the fact that they dropped him even from the mid-card is kind of sad, because he has more to give. But, anyway, Brodus Clay completely squashes JTG entirely. Which leads me to the question, and this isn't really a bad thing or a good thing. You know, he squashed... what the hell is his name? Kurt Hawkins on Raw last week, and then Tyson Kidd on SmackDown, and now JTG on Raw. So officially, what roster is Brodus Clay on? Not that it really matters with the Super Show, just a point of curiosity from me. Other people out there might even say, you know, Brodus Clay doesn't matter, why do you care? But now to the main event, and this wasn't so much a match, but one segment where a shitload of stuff happened. Punk, Bryan, Jericho versus Henry, Otunga, and Ziggler. First of all, Otunga doesn't belong in the main event. Second of all, you know, here's the setup of the match. You've got a 3-on-3 match. Punk, Bryan, Jericho, Henry, Otunga, Ziggler. So you have heel, heel, heel versus heel, heel, face. CM Punk, no matter how you want to look at it, is the only face character in that entire scenario. But the match goes on, this and that. Punk eventually tags out to... I'm getting ahead of myself. First of all, of course, Daniel Bryan comes out, talks about AJ getting run over, addresses the Big Show, says, I'm going to make you pay, in a very, very lackluster promo. In a show where Ziggler, Punk, and Kane have had the microphone most of the night, so we've been treated to a lot of good promos already. Daniel Bryan... didn't cut the mustard as far as his little pre-match promo goes. But the match goes on. Punk eventually tags in Jericho. Everybody's excited as shit to see Jericho in the ring. He still hasn't talked yet, but we're excited to see him in the ring. He tags in. He gets the crowd all riled up like he's about to pound the shit out of Otunga. And as soon as everybody's riled up, tags out to Daniel Bryan and walks up the ramp. And made me think, brand new Jericho t-shirt idea. Jericho. Tag in, troll, leave. Just saying. They're going to do it. I want royalties on it. But then, as if that doesn't screw Punk over enough, Bryan and the Big Show brawl up the rampway as Show basically chases Bryan out of the arena. So now we have CM Punk versus Mark Henry. Wait a minute. That doesn't work very well at all. We have CM Punk versus... What do we have? I totally lost my train of thought. We have CM Punk versus Ziggler and Otunga. There we go. Sorry guys, total brain fart. And basically a handicap match. So who comes down the rampway? Obviously Mick Foley. Gets a big, huge crowd pop. Tells the referee, it's okay. Laurinaitis told me I could be in the match. Match ends with Foley bringing out Mr. Socko and applying it to David Otunga because nobody cares about David Otunga and getting the win. Now, John Laurinaitis comes down. Of course, he didn't approve Mick Foley being in the match. Why would he? He's the bad guy, remember? And he says, I'm going to overturn the win. The other guys are the winners, Punk proceeds to drop another pipe bomb on John Laurinaitis. This one is better than the promo in the summer that got everybody's attention, in my opinion. Cut John Laurinaitis down to about that big, if you want my honest to God opinion, and leaves. John Laurinaitis, to his credit, you know, on a night where, you know, Ryder tried to nut up, and on a night where Cena tried to nut up, Laurinaitis tried to nut up, tell off the crowd, no, I don't get any respect, this and that, and then he's yelling at Foley, and takes the microphone and blasts the living shit out of Foley. And I like the way he did. I like that we've brought some character out of John Laurinaitis finally, and I like seeing Foley on my screen. But here is the lack of logic in the whole thing. Punk inadvertently buried Mick Foley. And I'll tell you why. No, because you're going to say, oh no, he showed a lot of respect to Mick Foley. That's right, he did. He brought John Laurinaitis down to a guy that's being about this big, saying John Laurinaitis was basically nothing. But yet John Laurinaitis laid out Mick Foley at the end of the night. So I'm really curious as to how they're going to expand upon that. Because if they go where I think they're going, and in the direction of a Ziggler Foley storyline leading into WrestleMania, that could be very interesting, or it could end, you know, horribly for everybody. And plus, you know, John Laurinaitis having the upper hand as we go off TV for the night isn't the greatest way to end Raw. But to be said, overall, great episode of Raw. Lots of information. was passed our way. Scores, fails, and MVP for the 16th of January 2012 episode of Raw. Scores, first of all, Foley coming back at all. I'm a mark for Foley. He can come back, he can do whatever he wants. He can come in a Santa suit, he can do a lame skit with John Cena, he can be in a match, he can be a referee, he can do whatever he wants, and he can't really do any wrong. He's kind of on the Ric Flair level that way. Foley, the idea of Foley being in the Rumble is awesome. It's the same value as if we're watching the Rumble and surprise entrants come in, where they're not really part of the roster, but they kind of are. And if Foley does, you know, even though John Laurinaitis has said, you know, adamantly that he's not going to be there, pretty much that means that he is going to be there. So that'll be fine. Ziggler's promo at the beginning of the show, like I said before, get Vicky out of the way, put Ziggler on the mic, and he cuts a great promo, like I say, on the same level as Punk. But his promo sold the Rumble. His promo sold the importance of the Rumble, the prestige that goes along with the Rumble, and especially this year, we haven't had much build, really. We've mentioned the match, and the commentators have said the stuff like, oh, you know, this guy is a real contender, this guy's a, you know, Vince McMahon back in the day used to call the Royal Rumble matches, what a contender! And they're saying everybody, you know, would be a great contender in the Royal Rumble match, but they haven't really hyped up the match itself. They haven't really hyped up the pay-per-view, really, because even after tonight, we only have 3 matches announced, and one of them is the Rumble match, which we already knew would be part of the Rumble. So so it was good to see one of the top guys on the show talking up the Rumble as opposed to talking up just himself. Usually I hate Vicky Guerrero. Usually I think she's annoying as hell. But during the Ryder Swagger match, the way she was heckling Eve Torres and the way she was sort of verbally torturing Eve Torres as Zack Ryder was being punished by Jack Swagger, it was very, very beautifully heel. It was pure heel mentality, psychology, and it was really, really good. So although I cringe to give Vicky Guerrero credit on a night where Swagger is now a champion, I'd be a liar if I said she wasn't doing a good job. The 4-way over-the-top rope challenge that happened tonight on Raw, it was good. It was good for a lot of reasons. It's an over-the-top rope elimination. It's very similar to the Rumble match. It gets people excited about the Royal Rumble match itself. Second of all, call somebody. R-Truth won a match. Third of all, it builds 2 feuds. It builds the Sheamus Wade feud, which, you know, is on the top of everybody's list that watches SmackDown. But it also builds the Miz Truth feud, which I think is getting not nearly enough attention and is very, very underrated in its potential. Brodus Clay. Brodus Clay re-debuted the same night that Jericho came back, and because some people, there's half of the people that are already sick of what Jericho's doing as far as the, you know, the prolonged silence and whatever, in some circles, more people are talking about Brodus Clay than the return of Chris Jericho, and that speaks volumes, so he must be doing something right. Second last thing I'm going to say, Mr. Sacco. Enough said. Punk's promo at the end on Laurinaitis wasn't exactly surprising because we know that guy has magic on the mic, but like I say, this is the best promo he has cut since he made this slow turn from heel to sort of tweener face guy, and since we've really, as the YWC started focusing on Punk as a great promo guy. Like I say, great show. As far as fails go, I had to struggle to find 2, actually. The tag titles and the whole situation surrounding that is kind of a fail. It's kind of an everybody lose, lose, lose situation, and if you want me to expound on that theory, please keep watching for the video that I'm going to do on that situation, so I'm not going to linger on here. The Perez-Hilton lame diva match, it really falls under the category of who cares. And on a show where everything else was pretty stellar, to have a who cares match happening right in the middle really sort of slowed the momentum of the whole show. MVP of the night has got to be Punk. Punk dominated the first segment. Punk was very dominant he was the only member of his team to last through the main event match, with Bryan getting taken out by Mark Henry and Jericho just, you know, taking a walk. And not only that, gets the technical win for his team, or is on the team that technically won, even though it was overturned, and gets one up on the boss as he leaves. So, all in all, a great night, a great outing for Mr. CM Punk. Now, my fave 5. Punk and Ziggler are basically mirror images of each other tonight. They both were part of great promo work at the beginning of the night. They both were part of the great match at the end of the night, and everybody sort of had their spot. Punk's team really won the match because of Laurinaitis' disqualification. On paper, Ziggler's team won, so they both won even though they were on the opposite teams. So everybody comes out looking like roses. Miz had a bad night. Tried to jump R-Truth again. It didn't work. Lost the Fatal 4-Way over the top rope challenge and ate Sheamus' boot on the way out the door. Rhodes wasn't on the show. Orton is still injured, much to the joy of all you haters out there. And that's about it. I thought giving it a day before I did this review I'd have more to say, but I really don't. I'm pretty sure I've gone on for a good 21 minutes now. That's far more than most people want to listen to me, I am sure. But you guys know the drill. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Let me know what you thought of this week's Raw. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to all of you guys later. I'm tagging out. Bye.
Get up, come on, get down.